One Direction are not getting back together. Yet. What's going on, guys? Connor Wells here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. If you are new around here, do hit that subscribe button and turn notification bells on, as that really does help the channel grow. And thank you very much for joining me for another video. And like I said at the start, One Direction are not getting back together just yet. Here's my argument. Let me explain. Now, I have to admit, One Direction, for some bizarre reason, I'm not entirely sure why, are a guilty pleasure for me. And as a music channel, you know, that gives me a bit of flack from time to time, but to be honest, I don't care. Each to our own. We all like our own type of music, you know. But I'm pretty proud to say that I like One Direction. You know, I think their last album, Made in the AM, was quality, very well written, and some great songs on there. Particularly the track If I Could Fly. Pulls my heartstrings every time. So yes, I am a bit of a One Direction fan. Please don't unsubscribe. I need you guys. I need you here on the channel. I've got a wedding to pay for. Please, I need you. Don't unsubscribe. Just don't. Now, I read a lot on Twitter and on Instagram, particularly Instagram, that there's a new rumour every day. Simon Cowell said this, Louis Tomlinson or Liam has said this, people are reading into this about what they've said, and it's all about a One Direction reunion. Now, there seems to be new rumours every single day. Every tabloid or newspaper and website, especially on Facebook as well, are posting a One Direction reunion is just around the corner. Tickets are going to sell out fast, which obviously they will, but a One Direction reunion is not round the corner. Now, I like One Direction and would be very interested to see what direction, pardon the pun, they would take in a reunion. Would it be all 5 of them, or would it just be the 4 of them and leaving out Ringo? Yes, I said Ringo. To do his solo thing, whatever he does, I don't know. But I would be very, very interested to hear what a new One Direction single or album would sound like. But let's face facts, they are not getting back together anytime soon. And here's why. 3 members of One Direction have new albums coming out. Niall has an as yet untitled album coming out very soon. Louis Tomlinson has Walls coming out in January 2020. And Harry Styles' new album Fine Line is out this Friday. And then there is also Liam Payne, who has just released a new album which is called LP1. I do find it really strange that he's titled his album LP1, considering most Harry Styles fans and stans also refer to his releases as HS1 or HS2. I find it quite interesting that he's called it LP1, but we'll go with it. Now, I've not listened to that album. If you would like me to react to any particular songs on that album, LP1, do let me know in the comments below. That would be great. Now, with the release of any sort of album or single comes 2 kinds of tours. That is the promotional tour, which is doing interviews, podcasts and all sorts of things like that, photo shoots as well, and then there is the actual tour, you know, the live shows to support the album. Gus has decided to join us for this video. This is Gus, the dog. Say hi, Gus. Do you like One Direction? I don't know what the response is for that. Down you go. Anyway, there comes the live shows. Now, Harry Styles has just announced his Love On tour. I believe that's what it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Niall Horan is busy rehearsing for his tour, and Louis Tomlinson starts his big tour, his first proper solo tour next year, which is very exciting. Liam Payne obviously will be supporting his album with a tour and TV appearances as well, and then Ringo will be doing whatever Ringo does. These kind of tours for former or current One Direction members, I don't know what it is now, but those kind of tours will be huge. Harry Styles' first date in London is nearly sold out and is probably set to. Louis Tomlinson's tour will be huge as well. Niall Horan, big tour. His last tour was very, very popular for his first album. Tours all around the world will take months, will take maybe even a year. Look at it like this. Harry Styles' last release was in 2017. That was his first HS1. That was Harry Styles' first album. He toured that album until the end of 2018. That was an entire year of touring and interviews and press and all that sort of stuff. That was an entire year. And then he spent the early part of 2019 writing and recording HS2, which obviously has now become Fine Line. That is the same with Niall Horan. He spent quite a good amount of 2018 touring. You know, he went all over the place supporting his first album. So it comes down to one simple fact. It doesn't make sense to announce a reunion just as 3 or 4 members of One Direction have just released their own solo projects. Harry and Niall both released a song on the same day as each other, which was also on the same day as Liam Payne's album release. So they are all busy working. They have no connection anymore, at present, to One Direction. It's like halfway through a movie, them stopping the movie and playing the trailer for another movie. You do that at the start or the end maybe. It doesn't make sense business-wise and, you know, career-wise to announce a reunion tour halfway through their promotional tour and live shows supporting their own individual work. Now, one of my favourite bands is a band called Feeder. You probably know their songs, you might not know their name. They're one of those kind of bands. Now, a few years ago, their singer Grant Nicholas did a solo tour. Now, I was lucky enough to go backstage, hang out with him and see the show, and it was a very, very great show. But he said to the crowd that he was very pleased that no one was shouting out to play Feeder songs, because he wasn't playing as Feeder at that point. He was playing as Grant Nicholas. He was doing his solo work. Much like Niall Horan doesn't really play too much One Direction songs. I mean, he plays Drag Me Down on his solo tour. I don't particularly know what Louis Tomlinson plays on his solo tour. I know Harry still plays What Makes You Beautiful, but he's changed it up to his own sort of style. If you look at his performance at the Capitol Ball this year, he changed it up. It was his own take on a One Direction song. So at that point in their careers, they are not members of One Direction, they are members of their own name. They're performing under their own right. My prediction is once they have toured, once they've released their second piece of work, Harry and Niall, once Louis releases his first bit of work, which is Walls, and then once Liam Payne finishes his tour for LP1, and then whatever Zayn's doing, then I think some form of announcement will turn up. But my prediction is it won't be round the corner. I'm guessing a One Direction reunion announcement, or tour, or any sort of release will be within the next 2 years, but at the latter part of that. Basically, in 2 years. Now, I think that may be a bit hard to digest because I do have a lot of One Direction fans who come to the channel quite often, but you've got to look at it as a business and a career. It won't make sense to announce a reunion or a tour or a comeback sort of thing when they're promoting their own solo work. Think of it like this: they've worked on what they probably believe is their best work ever. You know, they had the first album and then the second album just tops it, you know, really, really tops it as their best work. And then what everybody wants is a One Direction reunion, which basically sort of undermines everything they've sort of done as a solo artist, which is, you know, it's understandable, but it won't be good for them. Now, I would be interested to see what a One Direction reunion or a new track would sound like, because let's face it, their solo projects have all been very different. Louis Tomlinson's gone for the indie sort of Britpop kind of vibe. Harry Styles has very much experimented with his sound on Fine Line compared to the old soul of the band kind of sound on HS1. Niall Horan started his solo approach with like the singer-songwriter folk, embracing his Irish roots on a couple of tracks. He's gone down that sort of route and then is going a little bit more rocky on his new album, which is sounding great. I'm loving the first 2 tracks right now. Liam Payne obviously has gone sort of a more sort of contemporary pop kind of vibe, and Zayn is just doing whatever Zayn does. But let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. When do you predict a One Direction reunion? What kind of sound, what kind of form would it take? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, do hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're not already. Like I say at the end of every video, we're a small community, but a growing community of music fans all around the world. And at the end of the day, it's all about the music. Catch up with you in the next one, guys, and have a great day. Peace.